Nigeria gears up for the 2027 general elections. Political parties in the country are putting final touches to see that they woo eligible voters to their favor. However, that is not without certain challenges. For instance, here in Adamawa State, we have seen the All Progressive Congress, the APC, taking the center stage. Ever since the governor and his entourage defected to the APC, there has been this influx of intending aspirants as well as politicians into the party. But the saying that too many cooks might spoil the pot seems to be a reality when it comes to the issue, surrounding and revolving around the All Progressive Congress. And today, I've been joined by Dr. Victor Dogo. He is the organizing secretary. He is the publicity secretary, I beg your pardon, of the All Progressive Congress at Adamawa State, and he joins me now to further clarify certain issues and rumors that are making around concerning the candidacy of the political party here in Adamawa State. Doctor, it's a pleasure to have you on Political Affairs.
Thank you for having me, and good afternoon.
Indeed. Now, I'd like to first of all start by asking you, so far so good, right? But how will you describe the positioning of the APC ever since the governor, Right Honorable Amadou Fintiri, and his entourage or cabinet defected to the ruling All Progressive Congress?
Well, one thing is very clear, and that is Governor Amadou Fintiri came in with everything that is required of him to deliver on the renewed mandate of President Bola Tinubu. And of course, with the combination as being the leader of the party and having this integral kind of a relationship with other leaders that we have, like the NSA, Nuribadu, they call him Malam, our Malam, and also with other, with the huge giants that is known as the political party chairman, Alhaji Hamza Bello Madagali, and also alongside other young persons that are like the former organizing secretary, Comrade Rabado, who's also fully in charge of the secretary's office of the party, and also with the former secretary of the party now moving to the office of a deputy chairman of the party. And also we have Shelenga, Alhaji Shelen Saleh, who is also the organizing secretary, and going on and on. I can't mention everybody in this program. It is a team that has come together with an experience in winning. Those that were formerly in the PDP have come in with the flair and also with the experience of winning in Adamawa State. Now, the stability that has come into the party is as a result of the relationship between the governor, the NSA, also other elders and leaders in the APC of today. So now, if you're going to talk about why should we lose or win, I think there will be no statement of losing, because the two major forces that determines the leadership in Adamawa State have merged together, and now this fusion is a new fusion that will deliver on the renewed mandate of the president, and as well deliver on every candidate. Sir, let me not even use the word candidates. Every aspirant aspiring on any of our platform today in the APC is assured of a win because of the number that has come together, has fused together to deliver on the APC, sir.
Talking about numbers now, I've seen quite a number of aspirants, flaunting their billboards and posters. Even a lot of them have even, how am I going to put it now, some have been celebrated as they got home. Some have made their intention known publicly by, declaring their interest to run for governors. And it seems the office of the governor has attracted quite a number of aspirants indeed. And some of these aspirants, if not most of them, have been bona fide members of the All Progressive Congress, even before the fusion of the PDP into the APC, making a very strong amalgamation. But with that, as a matter of fact, the number of aspirants, whether from the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressive Congress, seem to be, overwhelming. How would you describe this interest that is being expressed by the number of politicians to run for the office of the governor?
Well, I think it's a clear indication that what the governor has already done in Adamawa State has attracted so much, and that attraction is the reason why you see virtually a large number of persons of great quality, you understand, stepping into the ring for the gubernatorial race. And I must sincerely say that, you know, this is the thing we've been talking about. We want sustenance, we want continuation, we want that system that's already been established, the Governor Umaru Fintiri, to continue to become the landmark on which whoever will emerge as the candidates. Because virtually, as I'm speaking right now, every one of them is an aspirant.
Yeah.
So, as aspirants being attracted by the good works of Governor Umaru Fintiri, it's a good omen for us, no matter their number. So we're not seeing that number as a problem. So it is good that they have been attracted. It is good that they are throwing themselves into the ring, and it's a reason for us to rejoice that each one of them have seen a platform that has already established good governance, a platform that has already set in motion what others can come and follow to deliver on what the Adamawa people want.
Now, to bring to an end, the individual interest and contestation is when a candidate emerges, and that can only be either through a consensus or direct primaries. Now, talk to me, being a publicity secretary of the APC. I don't know whether you have come across a post, a write-up that's making a round, you know, on social media, that Adamawa APC had agreed to consensus, and the consensus has actually pointed to Tijani Galadima as the sole candidate for the governorship election come 2027 in Adamawa State.
Let me be very, very emphatic and clear. Tijani Galadima is an outstanding personality. A man that comes with his own record. A man that comes with all that he has to offer. Everyone will wish every aspirant well. But as we speak right now, we have about 7 of them, about 6 or 7 of them that have thrown themselves into the ring. We have Senator Iyabas. We have Felix Tangwami. We have, you can go on and name them, but I must tell you that each of the aspirants that are contesting on the APC have their own qualities that they are all equally, I use that word, equally bringing to the table. There is no anointed candidates, because we have not crossed the process of producing a candidate. They are still what we call aspirants.
Some of them are still making consultations now with that people.
They should continue to do what is right. Ignore the rumors that somebody has emerged as a candidate on the APC. The APC is a family that will either adopt consensus or direct primaries. And as I speak right now, the leadership at the right time will do the needful. So anyone peddling whatever kind of rumor that there is already a candidate on the APC is trying to trigger division. So, and that is not going to be accepted. The APC as a family, we will collectively produce a candidate. And I'm assuring all the aspirants that it will be done in such a way that we will all join forces and present one amongst all of them. That means we will collapse our various structures into enhancing the success and the win for whoever amongst them will finally emerge. So let's take it from me as the publicity secretary, that as I speak right now, there are even us that are even as I'm speaking right now, the date has been extended. Some other gubernatorial aspirants are bound to come in.
Okay, the date has been extended.
The date has been extended. So that means that you can even have more than 1 or 2 other very important personalities that will step into the ring. So it is open.
Perhaps these rumors making the rounds might come on the heels of what transpired in Gombe State recently. Where we see Governor Inuwa of Gombe State, anointing a particular candidate, as a consensus candidate, and that has sparked reactions even in Gombe. And some have expressed, their displeasure as regard to that.
I really don't think there should be any displeasure, because if the governor of Gombe has come out to present a particular candidate at this point in time, it means that the leadership, like I said, have met. It's the same way that Adamawa State, the leadership will meet, and also the aspirants will be considered. and then they will finally come up with one as a consensus candidate, or at the end of the day, we'll go into direct primary. So whichever one, as we speak right now, we're on the process.
Beautiful. Now, I'd like to catch your breath, but when we come back, we also want to know, for the benefit of those who are following this conversation, to find out what leads to a consensus, and why must a consensus be at the expense of those who opt for direct primaries. All right. Well, you're watching Political Affairs on Camera TV. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in a moment. Join us again. And for those of you following the conversation on Facebook page, you can as well send your questions, your suggestions, and contribution, to the talking point at the comment sections, and Dr. Victor Dogo will respond to you swiftly. Join us again. Glad to know you're still there. If you have just joined us, you're watching Political Affairs on Camera TV. I've been speaking with Dr. Victor Dogo. He's the Publicity Secretary of All Progressive Congress in Adamawa State. And of course, the conversation has been very interesting. Now, before the break, I asked you this question. What constitute or what brings about a consensus at the expense of those who want to opt for direct primaries?
Well, I want to remove that word at the expense, because it is at the inclusive dialogue that ends up becoming or creating the room for a consensus. It is more or less a situation whereby the party stakeholders, not everyone must gather in the hall, but because you want to reduce the cumbersome approach of direct entries, it is best you gather as leaders with the stakeholders and then permutate amongst yourselves. You give and take. You consider all the aspirants. And then you will notice that at a point in time, there is possibility that one can be rallied round to deliver. And then the others could also bring in their expertise to help you to deliver on that person, that at the end of the day, you people feel, let us go with this person. But considering the fact that all the aspirants are being considered, you see, that's one thing I keep telling people. The same pattern of consensus is still an inclusive approach. It still takes into cognizance the views and the feedback from the general members of the political party. Now, it's just that
you can't say from the general members of the political
party. Why I will tell you that
it's just a few.
No, it's not a few
that make us the hinge of affairs of the party.
No, I will not agree with you. Let me tell you why I say so. Let me tell you why I say so. Because when you consider the fact that who are the stakeholders, even amongst the stakeholders, the various groups tend to have leaders that submit to certain leaders. That's where it comes into play. Because you find out that the views are being pushed upwards. Just as we cascade information downwards, that is how we also, harvest information from the various groups and their leaders that submit. Before you come to a consensus, people think it's this very little thing. No, it's something that entails reading the signs, reading the various permutations, and reading the opponents. You understand, sir? Because, for example, now if
who has an upper hand,
and then you also look at what would the system bring in to push that candidate.
But you can't completely overrule the place of interest. Of course, interest come into play by or amongst the microscopic few that make up the stakeholders. There are some, whether you like it or not, you might say, I wish this person emerges as the consensus candidate, while the other person might say, no, Mr. B should be the consensus candidate. So interest.
I love what you just said, sir. And that's very important. Let's discuss that a little bit. You see, interest is something that is individual. But at times, there's what supersedes the individual interest, and that is the win. We must win election. And if we must win election, when you come with your individual interest, we permutate and consider what will bring about a win. And when we're doing this permutation, we're not only considering only the interest of the party members, but we're looking at the card being played by even the opposition. For example, now if I'm bringing Mr. A, and Mr. A will entail the party system bringing 100% to deliver on Mr. A. No matter how popular that Mr. A is, you discover that there might be a little bit of a struggle. But if, for example, we're bringing Mr. B, and the party structure will be able to bring in 50% and will deliver. So now these are the things we begin to bring to the table. You begin to analyze it. And then you look at also the ability of that person to deliver, to govern. You see, it's not enough for you to be popular, but you must have the ability to govern and to sustain what APC is expected to sustain in Adamawa State. So now all these things are what our key leaders are going to consider. And then by the time they make this consideration, they will now be able to come out on agreed terms, and that is what is meant by that consensus, consenting to an agreed term, and that will bring about. But
I understand the point you just made, but don't you also think that a greater majority of bona fide eligible voters and members of your party, not just your party, any other political party that agrees to go consensus or direct primaries, might feel disenfranchised in terms of lending their voice to who they want, to be the consensus candidate. And this majority of voters are also bona fide members of the party.
I love what you have just said. It's very critical. But you see, the way the APC is made up of is of professionals that understand what it means to integrate and also be able to carry everyone along. There's something that Governor Amadu Fintiri has always said: no one will be left behind. The aspirants themselves that have stepped into the ring, no one will be left behind. Then we, as the professionals that are involved in publicity, that are involved in engaging the people in the field, we understand the importance of now taking the reasons why we have chosen or why this candidate has emerged, and the reason why we want to carry this man on the platform. So you see, there is no one that will be left out. We will be able to explain to them why this person must emerge, why this person can become the center of attraction, why every other person must collapse his structure to present this one front for us to win. You see, there are things at times that maybe you in the field might not see, but someone who is in governance might see that may be the reason why this person might be the right person to move the movement forward. So when that is being considered, we will now take it to the people. And that is why there is a campaigning period. Now that campaigning period is where we're going to go down to the local government, down to the units, and we'll cascade these reasons to them. And I'm telling you that before the choice is made, these leaders will do the painstaking work of making sure that they analyze everything one by one. So it must be a win-win. We have first the renewed mandates of the president, to make people understand that no matter how any president comes in Nigeria, people will try to bring him down. But when you consider the policies that are being put in place by the present government of President Tinubu, you discover that they are policies that are working. But because of the mindset of certain opposition to the man Tinubu, you hear them sending wrong information into the system, forgetting that it is one Nigeria. And let me say you something. Do you know that every support for the candidacy of President Tinubu is a win for we in the North tomorrow? In case we are going to ask for his support, if we don't support him today, how do you think the man and his followers will support you tomorrow? But
there are a lot of people, a lot of those who live, in rural communities. They don't know who the president is. In fact, they don't care to know who the president is. All they know and all they want to know and need to know is who their governor is.
I love what you're saying, sir. And that is the reason why persons like myself, those that are in the field, well, not, sir, you know me very well now, I'm a field man. Oh, sure. Publicity secretary is not to sit in the office, it's to make sure you cascade the information and also have best feedback from the locals. Or make the locals understand why they need this government. to continue.
Let me get this clear. Governor Fintiri, of course, is the leader of the APC, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And he has made a very emphatic statement even before now that his successor must be a grassroots politician. Now, should Governor Fintiri say, okay, there's no point going for consensus. Let the direct primary take its course and let the people speak. What will the stakeholders do?
Well, I must be very candid with you, be sincere with you. Consensus is a reflection of what the analysis of the larger population will be. Consensus is that these leaders sit down and they have already gotten information from the field. And that is why you see it's taking time for Adamawa to finally come to a consensus. And finally, if they are going to come to a consensus, nobody knows. If we're going to go for direct primaries as I speak right now, nobody knows. Because the constitutional provision for us to bring a candidate is direct primaries or consensus, which in either way, it is all right. So people should calm down. But I'm assuring the people of Adamawa State, with the leadership and with the understanding of the leader of the party, with the NSA, with Buba Marwa, with all other, and the chairman of the political party who believes in fair play, we will make sure that the man that can carry Adamawa State, the man that would understand the sustainability that we expect and we want to promote, emerges. And a man that can build upon what Governor Fintiri has already placed on the table. So now that is exactly what we are interested in. You see, there's no need being emotional. And that's what I keep telling people. You see, when you try to play the game of emotion, you discover that you end up losing it. And that is why at this point in time, in Adamawa State, everybody should calm down. There is no anointed candidate. Everyone is playing his card. And that's why we are cautioning supporters to embrace those that are not their own they are aspirants for now. Because tomorrow, what about if it is not your aspirant that emerges? You still need that new aspirant to be a friend.
You're beginning to tell whether there is this support conflict or emotional conflict between...
It's natural.
Yes, supporters.
It's natural. It's natural to have that when the aspiration is ongoing.
Yeah.
But there is a need when you are considering that to also be careful, because the person that might emerge might not be your aspirant. So what about if Mr. B's aspirant emerges? Are you not going to now go out of the whole system?
But don't you think the aspirant will have a major role to play by exhibiting his good sportsmanship?
And that is exactly what we are saying. Every aspirant should caution his followers, carry along his persons, and be able to make them understand that APC in Adamawa State is a family front. And together, we will have to produce one candidate. Like I said, as I speak right now, it is very possible that there are so many persons out there that are still aspiring to become governors. Tomorrow you might see them also picking the ticket. So when they pick these tickets, they come into the flow. So does that mean that those that are there before them are not as good as those that are not there?
Right.
They are all important. All our aspirants are equally ready.
There is more to talk about on what we've already spoken. I know for time constraint. However, Dr. Victor Dogo, Publicity Secretary, Africa All Progressive Congress, APC.
Why were you going to say Africa?
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for coming to the program today. Of course, Political Affairs is one platform that you always have your say. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed. And of course, I want to appreciate those of you that have followed the conversation on our Facebook page. Abigail E. Lazarus, Garba Hassan, Frama Elifas, Stephen Zing, Kwakori J. Paul, and more are still coming in. So send your comments and suggestions and even questions, to the talking point, and we'll get back to you swiftly. Well, join us again same time, same station as we come with a fresh edition of the program. Until then, stay safe. My name is Chris Jacobs. God bless Nigeria.